everybody. Welcome to Zombieland.
In case you have forgotten, today is Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. Here in the United States, that means that we fell back this morning.
Yeah.
The clocks have changed, so if you've forgotten, please go do that right now, or else you're going to get lost. Unless you live in an area where the clocks don't change, like Arizona.
Arizona, there's a couple
I think
places.
there's
We're talking about the
states.
United States, of course. Which is, by the way, this is still the silliest thing. It's just, I'm just tired of time changes, especially the spring forward one. Which,
they're terrible.
Okay, but in a world of pain, it's anyway. Hi, that's CC over there.
JT.
If you're new to our experience, the CC and JT Amateur Hour is a writer's experience. What we try to do is we try to talk about writing things unless we're feeling like complaining. And that's probably going to be what this one is. But what we try to do is we try to help writers write. And sometimes we're actually successful at that. We've been doing this for a few years. And if you get tired of listening to our voices, then we also do a second podcast with the Nevada Authors Network, which is a joint ventures between the Sierra Arts Foundation and our company, Two More Books LLC, to highlight the fantastic writers we have here in Northern Nevada. So you can check out that one at twomoorebooks.com. But if you're here, you want to listen to us talk about drinking coffee, baseball, Nevada Day, and just all the fun things we've had. We guess because this is a writer's thing, we're going to go ahead and talk about book release.
Yes. Yep.
So,
which was Friday, October 31st, 2025. Of course, we don't have the book out. It's in the car right now.
Yeah.
But
we did a book signing yesterday for the Nevada Day Parade event. And by the time we were done with it, we were done with it. So we left all the books out in the car.
We're still done with it, by the way.
Yeah. But we did release a book this week, the third Sheriff of Nevada book. Awesome. Yay. Woo.
Well, and I think that, I don't know about you, but I was pleased that JT had pre-orders for this book. That was awesome. And we did run into, at the event yesterday, people were looking at the books. They didn't buy them, but that was because they already had started reading the series.
Yeah.
So the word is getting out there, at least in our local area, that people are starting to recognize us. They come over and say, hey, I know you from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You're local authors. So these events are exhausting, but they're working, and it's helping with pre-orders, I think.
And we only have one more writer event this year so far, and that's a week from that's Saturday.
Yeah, so
Saturday, November 8th at Barnes and Noble in Reno. We're going to be there at 1 o'clock doing the same thing. Thank God it's inside. We're tired of doing the outside stuff. If you are listening to this and you're in the Northern Nevada area and you know of any other things that we could appear at, writing events or anything like that, please shoot it to us, because it is exhausting, but it is also quite a bit of fun to talk with people, sell books, and all that.
And watch people. Watching was incredibly interesting.
People watching. And our mantra is we sold more books today than we would have sold if we stayed home and did nothing. So,
right.
So we're good with that.
Plus, we had beautiful weather yesterday. We got to see the balloon ascension. We got to at least listen to the parade. We could hear the bagpipers. And
we had a music people, some really good
ones.
Did the entire Journey catalog.
I actually think the group was called Rock Paper Sisters or something like that. I'll have to see if I can look them up so we can link them, because they were amazing. I enjoyed them all day. Since we were busy at our booth, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to go over and tell them how much I was enjoying their music. But they played probably 5-6 hours straight.
Yeah,
it was just one song after another that we knew. People were singing and dancing, and it was a lot of fun.
It was fun. It was great fun. So it's like we did the book release on October 31st, which was Friday. We did the Nevada Day Parade event on Saturday, November 1st, just back to back, and so it was really a couple busy days for us, and no regrets.
No.
But we're feeling it right now.
Yes.
And it's
sitting in we have the vanilla folding chairs that everybody uses for events, and we sat in folding chairs for a couple of hours on Friday as well, because the other thing we did on October 31st was we went to the celebration. I don't know if this shows up, but for former state archivist Guy Rocha, who passed away in September. His request was that if there was any type of a remembrance of him. It would be held in his building, basically, the Nevada State Library and Archives building, and in the lobby there. Beautiful soaring lobby. The acoustics are terrible, but it is an impressive building, and he was one of the people that was instrumental in getting this building built. When he started around 1980, the archives, I think at that point, was still in the basement of the state capitol.
Yeah.
So to have their own building after starting at that location, they were in 3 or 4 other locations prior to that building being built. And archives are still pretty new to the 20th century, like the official ones. And the Nevada State Archives wasn't created until 1965 because it was leftover money from the Nevada Centennial. So a lot of people were very vocal about getting the archives created, and Guy Rocha was the one who actually put the archives on the map, basically.
And Guy Rocha, of course, put Nevada archives on the map more than that because, of course, he would challenge political figures, specifically George W. Bush, on the pronunciation of Nevada, who continued to insist. And, and it's gotten a lot of headways. I only rarely now hear Nevada. And
Yes.
That's just folks that are just, too lazy to understand the greatness of our state. Guy also impacted our family directly, of course, by hiring CC into the archives, which we're very grateful for because through his hiring and through the efforts of Jeff and your colleagues, eventually you were elevated to the position of senior archivist before you retired. So.
Yeah.
Guy had an impact on us too, so we were honored, and we were honored to be part of the very large crowd that
Yes.
celebrated Guy's life on Friday. So,
And we talk about, he was not just important to Nevada, he was important to the nation, like you said, for correcting Nevada, but there were some retired political figures. There was actually, it felt like being in a room of history because we had a former governor there. We had a former Secretary of State, Lieutenant Governor, so he was very well known and respected within the community.
Yeah, senator/governor.
Yes, he was governor and then became senator.
Right, but
yes.
still, that was, it was, and just of course, people talking to him, and everybody, didn't have a negative thing to say, but of course, you don't say negative things at celebrations, but still, Guy was definitely a personality in this state, and he will certainly. His wisdom and his ability to tell the truth against people who prefer fables, that ability is definitely going to be missed because we definitely need more truth tellers in the world.
And I will say one thing that nobody mentioned, but I know personally because I did work with Guy before he retired. He did a series called The Myth of the Month, and he was correcting Nevada history myths, like things like throwing wedding rings into the Truckee River in Reno. However, people would occasionally contact us and say there was some incorrect information in the myths, and Guy was willing to listen to that. So he wasn't just a truth teller, he was willing to listen to other people and obviously verify what they're saying, but it went both ways, and nobody mentioned that, but that was also the case. Busy couple of days.
It's been a couple of days, and I guess we would be remiss, since we're wearing our gear, if we didn't happen to mention one of the best World Series, not the best, of course, but
I don't know. It was a long World Series.
It was a long World Series, but it wasn't as awesome as 2016 because
this is true. But at least 2016 wasn't. I mean, that had its own challenges.
We're not going to talk about Game 3 and Game 7.
No.
It seems like we taught the phrase after 9 innings. The phrase after 9 innings is when the teams are tied. The phrase is free baseball.
Yep.
And we got literally more than a game's worth of free baseball because we got 9 extra innings on Game 3 and we got 2 extra innings last night.
Yep.
And and we have to, and it's like you don't want either team to lose. One team has to lose, but you don't want either team to lose. And I have so much admiration for the professionalism and the doggedness and the stubbornness
both teams.
Of both teams. So our hats are off to both the winning team, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I don't want to call them the losing team, but it's just
very close second place team.
It's a very close second place team. The Toronto Blue Jays, who must be feeling absolutely horrible this morning, because just one single misplay makes the difference, and that happened.
It could have gone either way very easily last night because they were they tied up again, which we were. I don't know about JT, but I was biting my nails because I was like, oh, please don't make it another 18-inning game.
Yeah, and it looked like it was going that way. So, and it was just, it was just a paper thin difference between the two teams. And, anybody who thinks that the Dodgers are destroying baseball needs to make a phone call to the Toronto Blue Jays, because they did not do the Dodger way. And yet they stood there toe to toe, both teams exchanging blows, and it was just a fantastic series. And it's just knowing today that there's no baseball and there no more World Series today just feels kind of hollow, because that was just a fantastic series. And for them to win on my cousin Chris's birthday,
who is a Dodgers fan,
passionate Dodgers fan, for them to win, to give him that birthday present is just sort of closes the circle.
Well, and there was some stress, obviously, with the Dodgers fans, because the Blue Jays hit the scoreboard first, and the Dodgers had gone down a couple of games at home, which, you don't like to see that, but the fact that they were able to come back, and not only come back, but go to a Game 7 and then win that was... It was a hard-fought World Series. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're done. Yeah. It was back and forth.
And we've seen a lot of baseball in our lives. CC and I, we've seen a lot of baseball in our lives, and I'm going to mention two words that's just going to make her cringe. Game 3. We are probably never going to forget the 18 innings of Game 3. Mm-hmm. So this was just, from beginning to end, just a fantastic series. I bet that it was going to go in 5 games, with the Blue Jays winning one, and then the Dodgers would just hit their way through that. And boy, I'm so glad I was wrong.
Oh my God. And also, there were many records broken in this series, but considering how long the games went, I think it was Will Smith who was the catcher.
Yeah.
He spent the most time catching in World Series, I guess.
His World Series history, most innings caught or something like that.
It was 73 innings.
Yeah.
73 innings in a week. It's just like, this poor guy, his knees will never be the same.
And of course, poor George Springer. Who seemed to hurt himself every time he stood in the batter's box. I'm never going to forget that. It's like, George, just go.
Even when he was avoiding the outside pitches that were coming in his direction, he looked like he was hurting himself. So we were just kind of like, George, stay on the bench. Don't hit the ball. Don't do anything.
Okay, we mentioned players from both teams, and we could just go on this list because we were just so totally invested. We didn't have the emotional investment that Chris had, or probably the Blue Jays or the Dodgers fans are, because
we believe Cubs blue.
Yeah, but we were speaking of our Cubs, who did make it to the postseason and who did beat the San Diego Padres. Mm-hmm. Yes. But got swept by the Brewers. And then the classic Brewers did that thing. And so we now have, before there was a kind of a rivalry, it was kind of a friendly rivalry. I don't think that's going to be the case in the upcoming season, because the Brewers were just dumbass, what they did is when they did the gather for the team photo after sweeping the Cubs, give credit where credit is due. After sweeping the Cubs, they gathered for a team photo, and they grabbed one of the L flags and they displayed the L flag, and that's not cool. Just ticked us off so much. And then they got their ass totally thrashed by the Dodgers, which we were so very happy for. But I think that next year, usually it's the Cubs and the Cards, but I think next year it's going to be the Cubs and the Brewers.
There's going to be a bit of a rivalry there for sure, and who knows? Maybe next year we'll actually see the Cubs live. We did see them this year too.
We did. We saw them. We saw them in Sacramento on the second game of the season, and those poor A's. I felt so sorry for them. They looked like a AAA team. They looked like a AAA team against a major league team, and they actually got swept by the Cubs on their first series, and things didn't really improve for them that year. But yes, we did see them, and we're going to try to see them in 2026, and
maybe in spring training.
Yeah, boy, we're looking forward to it, because this year's Cubs gave us kind of a 2015 vibe versus 2016 vibe, where 2015
Was the
again, we got to the
warm-up.
postseason, and it's like the Cubs got a taste. And then 2016, of course, they went all the way.
I
And
don't know if I can handle another World
Oh
Series,
my gosh.
so that was hard.
that was harsh. But just one last commentary before we move on to writing stuff is the question is again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about the Dodgers ruining baseball by them buying all the best players, and they did. They bought Shohei, they bought Yamamoto, and they bought really a fantastic starting pitching, which all of whom appeared last night in the game. So, they're fantastic starting pitching. So people are saying, hey, they ruined baseball. But you know what? There's 29 other teams in baseball that could spend like they did. They just don't.
Yeah.
So they just don't. And so if people are thinking that the Dodgers ruined baseball, I would go back to your own owners and say, hey, spend some money.
And it's not just the players too. We were watching the pitching coaches and the managers and everybody on the sidelines who are, they're trying their best to put the proper players into the proper place at the proper time, and so many things can happen. When the ball bounces in the wrong spot, you have your players too far to the right, too far to the left. Anything drops in, and baseball is a game of inches.
Yeah, baseball, yeah. So, no, the Dodgers aren't ruining baseball.
No.
Dodgers aren't ruining baseball. The 29 owners need to step up and say,
Yeah.
hey, and Toronto almost did it. They were just that close to doing
They
it.
were an excellent team. I mean, just watching the two teams battle back and forth, there's some really great players on both teams,
Okay,
honestly.
yeah, it was just really.
I don't think either team has anything to be ashamed of.
No, it's just I just know that some people are right now walking around Toronto. They're butt hurt,
Yeah.
and they don't have a reason to be, because everybody associated with the Blue Jays organization, fans and organization should be very, very, very proud of their team.
And just to throw it back to the writing aspect, you did see something this week, I think, related to one of the games. Like, sports writing is also a very big deal.
Oh yeah.
And there was a lead to a story that you
just
posted. So, we talk about this being a writing-related podcast, and we do read sports writing too.
Mhm.
So, those sports writing is also a valid writing profession.
Yeah, it is. We
And
saw
it
some
can be
fantastic
beautiful.
articles.
Yeah.
It is just, but we're going to go ahead and use that as a segue and talk about writing. What do we want to talk about writing? We could talk about doing outdoor events. We could talk about just writing. We're just taking it. We're actually right now. Why don't we do a current updates? How's it going? You're doing your Restless Spirits
Yes.
series.
Book
People were
2.
asking, and people actually bought
Yes.
at both of our last events.
Yeah.
Bought your book.
Yes.
And so you got an opportunity to tell them about the status of those books are.
Mm-hmm.
Take a book.
So, Restless Spirits Book 1, Passion Restored, is out, and I do explain that it is a paranormal romance set in Virginia City with historical elements, because it does have aspects of the history of the 1875 Great Fire in Virginia City, and the fact that I included real historic newspaper articles in the book with a... in the e-edition, I included a hyperlink that goes directly to the newspaper, so you can read the entire page around the story, because sometimes I only included a snippet. They didn't use a lot of images in the 19th century newspapers. It would be a lot of columns of text and a few ads. So I'd have to put a snippet of a column in there, and then you could read the rest of the article. So people were fascinated by the fact that I included that. Some people were distinctly looking for the historic element. The successive books in the series won't have as much of that, because they are really, it's more of a pop culture thing. The initial idea came after one of our kids and I went to a convention, a fan convention for a TV show. And book 3 is really about that fan convention and experiences we had there. So the entire series kind of revolves around the fan aspect, because Restless Spirits, the series name, is actually the name of a TV show. So that is in progress. Plus, I am also working on historical fiction that I want to release on Nevada Day next year. It is, going back to the archives, it is about the founding of the state of Nevada, the 1863-1864 time period. There were 2 constitutional conventions, And I think it's a fascinating period in time. Mark Twain was in the area. He actually, about that time, became Mark Twain. It was Sam Clemens. His brother, Orion, or Orion, depending on how you pronounce it, was the territorial secretary. And they're famously, Orion and his wife, I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now, but their daughter Jenny was a big figure in our local history as well. Unfortunately, she passed away here young from sickness, and Mark Twain became angered with the funeral industry as a result. So these types of things are going to figure into my historical romance, which it will be stronger on history than it will be on romance. And I think based on what we saw with book sales yesterday, if we do this again next year and I have that book available, I think that book may be a big seller.
Yeah.
So talking to people about having done this work with these books and what they're about, we did have a Nevada specific table set up yesterday because a lot of JT's books are in Nevada. They're set in Nevada, and Nevada is a pivotal character in them. So we did see that Nevada images and artwork and things like that were big sellers yesterday. Yeah. So not quite as much for our books, but you did sell several copies of Sheriff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially for the Nevada connection, but also because people are fans of that type of fiction. So I think I'm feeling good about where I'm going with my writing based on talking to people at these events. And hopefully, you know, as we do more of them, we get more people coming up who are already familiar with us. And that's basically why we're putting ourselves through this.
Yeah, but it's a
hard.
slog. It's a slog.
It is
because for you know, people set up their booths at the Nevada Day event at various times, and I think in retrospect we probably got up a little too early to do ours. But you know, we were up at literally dark 30. We left my car over there loaded with our supplies and everything. We left it over there so we wouldn't have to deal with driving, because driving on Nevada Day at any time is a challenge. So we got over there, got everything set up, and then proceeded to freeze our butts off because it was like the coldest part of the day. If we do this again, and you know, I'm going to let the memory fade a while before we have that discussion. We will probably, you know, set up closer to 6 o'clock than we actually did, because man, it was cold, and we actually didn't do any sales until the afternoon. So we were all set up and ready to go for no particular reason. So because people were going to the parade.
I did talk to the booths on either side of us. We had one couple who were wood carvers, basically. I think they used some kind of laser engraving, and their artwork was specific to Lake Tahoe, which is very close to us. Also very popular. On the other side, we had the granddaughter of Roy Rogers and Dale Evans, which was fascinating. I had some really great discussions with her. She's got more books coming out. She is a teacher. She's a kindergarten teacher, really sweet woman, and she's about to retire next year and just do more writing. But, you know, kind of talking to the people around us has been a lot of fun at these events. We learn, I mean, obviously as writers, we're people watchers anyway.
Yeah. But
actually hearing people's life stories and things like that, because if you're of a certain age, you know Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. They were huge. And I overheard her talking to some other people, you know, growing up listening to Happy Trails in the House as a little kid was a big deal for her. So you never know who you're going to meet. And I think even though, like you said, we didn't really sell anything until noon, I think the fact that we were there earlier gave us time to kind of mingle with people. And it's all about the mood, I think. Right. And, you know, everybody was excited. Well, they didn't show it. But everybody seems to be excited to come out for Nevada Day.
Yeah, and and there's a lot of crowd. There's a lot of foot traffic.
Huge crowd.
So some advice that we have, first of all, is you know, do something about the chairs that you're sitting in, because you're going to be in those chairs for a very long time. And
yeah.
If you remember Dale Evans and Roy Rogers, your back is hurting. So you know, it's something like that. And also, so do something about the chairs, and also do something to attract people to your tent, because there was quite a bit of foot traffic, and a lot of people just sauntered on by, which is fine. You know, we've talked about that before, where people have self-induced blindness because they they just don't want to look at, they don't want to deal with the sales and everything like
Right.
that, so they just keep going. But if you could think of something to draw people in, and we were thinking, for example, since Nevada was a big deal, maybe do Nevada postcards or something like
Right.
that to draw people to your tent. We did sell books. We didn't sell a great many books, but again, as I said, if we'd stayed home, we would have sold 0 books. So, every little step, every little bit.
And I know it was cold and uncomfortable with the chairs and everything, but I don't know about you. I enjoyed watching the balloon ascension. That was amazing because they had the balloons go up just a block over from us,
Mm-hmm.
and we were watching the balloons floating overhead. We didn't see the parade, but we could hear, like I said, the bands, and there is a section of the parade where there are rifle groups and things like that. So we got the ambiance that we do here at home a little bit because we are so close to downtown, but it's more of you feel like you're in the action. And I felt like I was a part of Nevada Day instead of just kind of ignoring it. So
one last piece of advice I want to do is, prepare for all kinds of weathers, because what happened was
For sure.
yesterday was an absolutely gorgeous day.
Perfect.
God, it was just so beautiful.
yeah,
For us, it started in the 30s, literally.
Yeah.
It was started in the 30s, and it ended in the mid-70s. And you would think, well, mid-70s is not that big and hot a deal. Oh my gosh, no. If you're out in the sun, it's the 70s, you get warm pretty fast. And we were still kind of dressed for the cool weather. So, it just sounds like a common sense thing, but be prepared for all kinds of weather, and all kinds of temperatures.
Yes, and we had a similar experience when we did the Sparks event out at the Depot Gallery with Sierra Arts Foundation, where we probably should have used a pop-up, because that one, I'm still showing signs of what happened that day. So we did better than we did that day in preparing, but every time is a learning experience.
Yeah. So for the as I said, that was our last planned event for 2020.
Outdoor event.
Yeah, that's right. Aside from Barnes and Noble,
Right.
we're doing Barnes and Noble on Saturday, so please come by at 1:00. But for after that, we're just going to be diving in and focused on writing. You're going to work on your Restless Spirits.
Yeah, 2 and 3, because 3 is close to done.
And then I'm going to continue working on the Finding Salvation, the prequels. So we're going to get those done, and then we'll start releasing books again in 2026. And again, if you know of an event that we could dive into for the rest of the year where we could sell 2 or 3 books, awesome.
Well, and one of the other things that I should say is with the Serving Salvation series, it is a complete trilogy. When we sold those books at both events, the people bought the full series. They bought all 3 books. So series definitely appeal to people. I think with the Sheriff series, since it's still in progress, we don't sell all 3 books at the same time. But when you say this is a complete series, I think people are really interested in having all of the books.
Yeah, we also sold the complete series of Emma yesterday.
Yes,
so,
that was awesome because
so that was pretty good. The Emma Parks series.
And since those were smaller books, JT actually did a compilation, so it's 3 books in one,
Right.
and it's less expensive than buying the 3 books separately. So that can also attract people who want to read a full series.
So and so. Okay.
We're doing some things right,
Okay.
definitely. And we have the sheet that shows all the books we have available so that they don't feel like buying at the moment. We give them a link to our website and our bookstore, and hopefully, maybe later on they will actually come and check them out. So there are a lot of different ways you can attract readers.
Okay. Okay. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
There is one other thing we should mention.
Which is?
I think at more than one event, we have had young people come up to us who are interested in writing.
Yes.
And those interactions are so precious, because even when you walked away yesterday, we were talking to she's actually a high school sophomore, and she's very excitedly telling us about the series that she's working on. After you left, she was showing me the animations that she drew.
Mm-hmm.
She's very actually interested in comics like anime or manga, and she definitely has the style down.
Yeah.
So she was telling the storyline and how many books she had planned and how much she had written, and she's got family members helping her. So just like with this podcast, talking to other authors is always a lot of fun.
The kids are all right.
They're awesome.
Yeah, it's and sometimes they are looking for validation and things like that, which we are more than happy to give. So we're very impressed with her passion and her energy, and she was explaining things quite in depth. And it's like, this is not an amateur. This is just not some, just not some kid. This is the kid that's got the cat scratching inside the cardboard box thing going on. So more power to you, young lady, and good luck and. Good luck to all of
She was well read, and she was using what she had read to help develop the story she was writing. So it's always nice to see that, because you hear that the kids are too busy playing on their device.
Yeah, they're playing on their boxy things and boxy thingsies.
But there are still kids being very creative out there, and it's good to see the next generation coming up that way.
Yeah, that gave us faith. That gave us hope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're about winding down here because our coffee's about done, and we're tired.
We are
and
tired.
Also the time change. Blah.
Yeah. So if you take anything from this blathering today, it's don't be afraid to do events. Just be prepared. Be prepared to talk to a wide variety of people.
Yes.
Of all flavors. And if you're a baseball fan, I hope you're recuperating from the World Series, especially if you're a Dodgers or a Blue Jays fan.
And if you're a writer, keep writing. You're doing a good job.
Yep.
You're doing a good job. Okay, we're going to go ahead and shut this down, unless you can think of anything else.
No, I think we've talked enough, and we have other things to do. We have a Sierra Arts Literary Community meeting today.
And before we do that, we have to
unload the car.
Unload the car. Oh, dear God. But the nice thing is when we unload the car, we are actually unloading less than we put in, because we sold books. Yay!
And we will be taking less to our indoor event because we don't need the canopy and everything.
Yeah.
That will be nice.
Okay, now we're just blathering to blather. Anyway, sitting over there is CC.
And over there's JT.
Thank you for attending the CC and JT Amateur Hour, which is a writer's podcast for writers. We hope that you could get something from this. Check us out at our website at www.carsonhume.com. And again, if you're interested in learning more about the Northern Nevada writers, you can check that out at twomorebooks.com, TWOMORE.com. Until next time, whenever that will be, might even be next week, y'all take care.
Bye-bye.